From Humber Polytechnic, welcome. So you have 3 minutes to prepare, and I'm going to work with the team to make sure their AV is in check. So we're going to start the timer.
Check one, check two.
Check one, check two.
Excellent.
Check one, check two.
Great. And the slide, you're sharing your slides. That's great.
Yeah, we are all good on our end.
Excellent. So we're going to let the timer for that full 3 minutes. And you'll start your presentation when I say, right? So we're good. Okay.
Sounds good.
We've got about 2 minutes. If there's any additional checks or tests you want to do.
I think we're good.
We'll just let the judges take their minute here to get ready. Okay, Humber Polytechnic, you may now begin your presentation.
What if I told you that beauty is poisoning our planet? The glow, the glam, the get ready with me, it's empowering, but at what cost?
Behind every pallet, the planet is paying the price.
In 2021, Canada discarded over 773 million beauty products, a reality that's largely overlooked.
Makeup may live for months in our vanities, but it stays on our planet for decades.
So, what happens to that unused lipstick?
Can it help fuel a circular economy?
We are Enactus Humber, and today we're proud to introduce our social enterprise,
Reshade.
The Reshade team collects end-of-life makeup through consumer donation drives and industry partners, with MAC Cosmetics and Shoppers Drug Mart directly shipping their products to our lab.
Once collected, we sanitize and mill the pigments, blending them with our non-toxic paint medium, which we make in-house. For our first real-world test, we produced a line of 30 custom paint colors for a commissioned mural, delivering 50 kilograms of waste while validating product performance.
Following the MVP's rollout, Reshade gained significant traction over the next 9 months.
We produced 300 bottles of paint for a major event at our school,
Supplied paint to our partner, Cosmetics Alliance Canada, for their Beauty's Best Gala. More on that later.
And Reshade placed first in the Innovation and Impact Challenge at the Enactus Canada Regional Exposition.
To date, Reshade has completed 6 market-validated pilots demonstrating repeat use in real-world applications.
In parallel, we've also created 2 paid student roles and already secured additional revenue-generating events to continue rolling out our product this month. Our current production cost is just over $3 for a 150 milliliter jar, and we sell it at a competitive price of $7.49, delivering a 57.5% gross margin.
Currently, we operate on a D2A model through commission murals and custom paint production for artists and special events.
By the end of this year, we're set to expand into e-commerce and B2B distribution. But scaling at that speed requires solving one critical constraint.
As demand is growing, manual production has hit its limit. So we're doing what startups do best: build technology.
Our team is currently building a proprietary machine that automates every stage of our manufacturing process. And here is what changed everything.
This past October, our technology won Tech of the Year award, presented by the Cosmetics Alliance Canada, beating major industry brands, including L'Oreal, Groupe Marcel, and Shoppers Drug Mart.
Wholly operated under our diverse team of more than 50 students, Reshade has moved from just a pilot to gaining national industry recognition within months.
Unlocking access to 150 beauty brands and securing a steady supply of cosmetic waste directly from them.
And by 2027, our automated production line will enable Reshade to scale paint distribution nationally.
We also recognize that packaging waste is a major challenge, so we're working on securing research grants to repurpose cosmetic packaging.
But today, we're at a turning point. While packaging is being addressed, paint production is still manual, volunteer-driven, and limiting our growth.
The demand for our paint is growing. The industry is paying more attention than ever, and our technology is proven, but it needs capital to build.
So today, we are asking for $20,000 to complete our custom production technology, enabling Reshade to scale faster, lower costs, create jobs, and divert beauty waste at an industrial level.
Reshade is more than just paint.
It is about turning waste into possibility and closing the loop between beauty, creativity, and sustainability.
And the only question left is, will you be a part of it?
Okay, thank you, Humber Polytechnic. It's now time for the question and answer period. So judges, again, please either use that raise hand feature on Zoom and lower that hand when you're done, or the chat feature. And I'm going to start the timer here. John. Oh, you're on mute, John.
Sorry about that. Quick question. How much have you sold thus far in dollars? And who have the clients been? The nature of the clients, not precise names, but what type of consumer is buying this?
So we've done 6 events where we've supplied paint either for commercially giving it away, or it would be events like the murals that we've done, for example, the one for Cosmetics Alliance Canada. So we've done $3,000 in revenue till date, but we've only been market testing. And going forward, we have interest from departments at Humber Polytechnic who want to buy their paint for their programs. It's just a matter of us finishing the technology so that we can make paint at that industrial level. So we've done $3,000 in revenue till now. It's either been artists or companies who are doing the events.
Thank you.
David.
What's the scale of the issue, and will that constrain you to actually be able to grow and have a sustainable supply of, I guess, waste to feed your product?
Thank you so much for the question. So putting things into perspective, 2021, 773 million beauty products were discarded. The population of Canada was 37 million. So considering that 20 beauty products were discarded, good to use beauty products were discarded by every individual. So the problem is huge, and it's directly contributing to landfills, which is good for us because cosmetic companies, that discontinue the product, there's damage at the store, they have to pay to get rid of it either way. So they ship their products directly to us and they bear the cost for it. So we have a steady supply of cosmetic waste coming in, especially because of our partner Cosmetics Lines Canada, because they have major members, just to name a few brands, Elf, L'Oreal, Marcel, etc.
Gareth.
If you got the full funding that you were looking for, how would that affect your COGS?
Our comms?
COGS, cost of goods sold.
Oh, awesome. So currently, our cost of goods sold would be 318 because the production, the manual labor is still volunteer driven. So once we get the machine sorted, it shouldn't affect cost of goods sold as much. However, it's going to streamline the process entirely, which is going to enable us to fulfill bulk orders and produce at a scale where we can go into B2B and D2A or D2C e-commerce distribution. So it should drive up revenue really fast.
Luce.
Your technology, are you trying to receive a patent, or is it patentable, or could anybody replicate it?
So we can get IP for the actual machine that makes the products. There's 5 different stages to it. So we sanitize and then we mill the pigments and then it gets mixed with the medium that we have. So the IP of the entire process where we can get that in. However, the machine that we're making, the process, the step of bottling it is also something that we can get patents for.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go lean, and then David, if we have time, but I don't think we will.
Thank you. So you're looking for $20,000 investment to scale up your production. Do you have a projection on when you will see cash flow positive, or do you need require more investments after 20,000?
Yes, so we have actually intent of Humber trying to buy this paint directly for their program. So the cash flow should be positive as soon as we can get the machine running. Considering they want to use it for multiple programs. We have artist programs at Humber as well. We also have one event that we'll be supplying a lot of paint for coming next month. So we have already started generating revenue, and with the machine,
your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating Humber Polytechnic. Judges, we have a few moments as we bring the next team in. Please use this time to complete your scoring and we'll get started momentarily. Students, you may now leave the meeting.
Okay, judges, please join me in welcoming the Enactus team from University of British Columbia, Vancouver. So you have 3 minutes to prepare, and I'm going to work with the team to make sure their AV is good to go. I'm going to start the 3-minute timer. UBC, can I just get your audio check?
Hello, sound check.
Hi, sound check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, great. And are you sharing screen for the presentation?
Yes, let me do that right now.
Great.
Is it visible to everyone?
Yeah, looking
Awesome.
good. And we can see you both. Excellent.
Can I quickly check just to see if the slide's free?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Are the transitions good? Or is it switching between the sides? Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep, looks like it. Yeah, that's great.
All right, perfect.
We've got about a minute and a half.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, University of British Columbia, Vancouver, you may now begin your presentation.
Hello, everyone. We are Rekindle from the University of British Columbia, Enactus, a student-led wood waste upcycling venture, and we're here to invite you all to invest in something circular.
Right now, 5.75 million tons of wood waste sit in Canadian landfills, and less than 0.3% ever gets recycled. This isn't just about wasted materials. When wood decomposes in landfills, it releases a mixture of carbon dioxide and methane, a greenhouse gas 84 times more potent than carbon dioxide. It creates toxic leachate that contaminates our soil and waterways. At the same time, it's also taking up massive landfill space that we lack capacity for in the long run. This is a problem hiding in plain sight, and we're turning it into an opportunity.
And our mission is simple, which is to divert wood waste from landfills and reimagine it as a climate-conscious good that is affordable and rooted in circular design. No plastic, no synthetic binding agents, no greenwashing. Just fully compostable coasters made from all forms of wood shavings, transparent from start to finish.
The sustainable home goods market is growing, but there's a gap. Premium players such as Chop Value sell coasters for over $10, uses unclear composite materials, and only upcycle chopsticks. Generic Amazon coasters are cheap, but unsustainable. Rekindle is the only brand combining full sustainability and accessibility while being waterproof, fully biodegradable, and customizable at just $5 per coaster.
So here's how we do it. We collect and filter clean wood waste. Afterwards, we mix it with our proprietary biodegradable binder that prevents cracking. Afterwards, we form a wooden sheet, then use a laser cutter to engrave and cut out the coasters. The result? Coasters that are functional, compostable, affordable, and fully customizable. And this model has already received proper validation. As of February 1, we reached over 40,000 individuals through campus pop-ups, workshops, and social media. We've raised over 3,600 through sales competitions and grants, but here's what matters most. For each batch that we produce, we're able to divert 10 kilograms of wood waste, avoid 14 kilograms of CO2 emissions, and prevent around 10 liters of toxic leachate from entering Vancouver's watersheds. This is proof that real demand exists and that our model works.
We are a team of 28 students from UBC, spanning business, engineering, science, and forestry. We're supported by the advisors from UBC Solder, UBC Engineering, Hatch, and the Faculty of Forestry. We're not just learning about sustainability, we're practicing it and building a leadership pipeline for thousands of future changemakers. Over the next 6 months, we're scaling fast. For the next 2 months, we'll be investing heavily into R&D as we approach the final stages of our prototyping. Between May to August, we'll launch personalized coasters made to order within our university while collating feedback to continuously iterate our product. From September and onwards, we aim to scale our operations beyond made to order, securing partnerships with facilities on campus, such as the bookstore and the broader community with local cafes and restaurants.
We're asking you all to support for your support to bridge the funding gap that will power our next phase. Specifically, this funding will allow us to support team expansion and rent production facilities and equipment. This isn't just about coasters. It's about empowering the next generation to turn wood waste into products that make sustainability tangible, local, and accessible. We Rekindle, and we're ready to scale circular solutions that matter to you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to get right into the question and answer now. So again, please use that raise hand feature and make sure to lower it when you're done. And a reminder that if you prefer not to speak, you can always use the chat. So, first question. David.
Why coasters?
Yeah, so when we first started our research on the project, quite frankly, we were looking at something that was easy to make from the get-go, just because we're students and we didn't have too much in terms of facilities. So coasters was one of the main things that we landed on. Also, just goes in tangent with our motto of investing in something circular.
Sammy.
Thank you. How do you source your wood waste?
So I mentioned it. We mentioned it here earlier. So we partner with the Center of Advanced Wood Processing. It's over here in the bottom left. So essentially, they have a bunch of facilities where woodwork and there's a bunch of machines, and then all the wood waste from those machines go to this one funnel, and then all that funnel spits out all the sawdust, and then that's what we collect for the wood waste. So in terms of the collection of the wood waste, it's mainly from the Center of Advanced Wood Processing on UBC.
Luce.
Luce, you're on mute.
There we go. Okay. So you say at the beginning that your wood comes from landfills, but right now you're taking the wood directly from a processor. Would it have gone to a landfill if you had not taken it? And do you have plans at all or thoughts about going directly to landfills?
So right now, if we do not collect these wood waste, they will be directly diverted to landfills, which is something that we don't want because the amount of environmental impact it creates. So hence, we're trying to reduce the amount of wood waste that goes into such landfills in order to kind of preserve our environment in the future.
Do you have any other questions?
Randy?
So little allocated toward prototype in your funding request.
Yeah, so if I just go back to that, so a main reason why it's not too much right now is just because we do have a lot of support from UBC, but then admittedly in the long run, once like especially over the summer, once we lose access to some of the facilities, then we will need a bit more funding. But then as of now, in terms of how much we're allocating to prototyping, we don't need too much just because we also have a lot of supplies as of now, but then any amount of support would be much appreciated.
And I have a question in the chat. How long will it take to produce the prototype?
So I could actually just scroll down a bit to our appendices. So we're actually in the prototyping phase, and we have a couple of prototypes ready on the right, but we're just polishing it a bit more just because it's not as refined and straight as we want it to be. So it'll probably take around a month or two before we get to our final product, but then that's still without the customer validation that we want to get in terms of feedback, which is why in our second phase we'll be focusing on not just launching the product, but then getting that reiterative feedback just to continuously improve the product.
Okay, and John, and you might be the final question.
So today, what would be your biggest binding constraint to growing?
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating University of British Columbia, Vancouver. Judges, we have a few moments as we bring the next team in. Please use this time to complete your scoring and we'll get started momentarily. Students, you may now leave the meeting.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Can I just ask a question? It's Anne.
Yeah.
How do you get your hand up to let you know that I want to ask a question?
There should be there. Are you on desktop, Anne?
Yes.
So along the bottom it says React.
Yep.
And there should be a raise. It says raise hand.
Oh, so it's a play chime for raised hand?
Yeah. Do you want to try it right now?
Yeah. Because okay.
There you go.
Okay, sorry. And then I just go back to but it's got here recognize hand gestures as well.
Just the raise hand is fine. And then you should be able to lower hand.
Okay, great. Because I had my hand up, but somebody else asked the same question. So
okay, great. Thank you. Okay, please join me in welcoming the Enactus team from the University of Prince Edward Island. I'm going to start the 3 minutes and we'll do your tech check.
Perfect.
So can I get the audio, please?
Yeah, test. Can you hear me?
I can, great.
Awesome.
And do you want to share screen?
Yes. All right. Can everyone see that?
Yes, that's great.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
I don't know when I start, but
I'll give you the prompt. We've got a few minutes and
okay. Yeah,
I'll let the judges catch up on their notes.
Mm-hmm.
University of Prince Edward Island, you may now begin your presentation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Have you ever had a serious injury or watched someone you love go through one? The fear, frustration, and loss of independence are overwhelming. That's life on crutches. You can't carry things, do basic tasks, or move without worrying about falling. It just doesn't, it slows you down and it takes away control of your life. We saw this firsthand after interviewing 40 people who had previously used crutches, and 95% were physically and mentally exhausted from pain, 60% had fallen, and 100% couldn't perform daily activities without help. This affects 18 million people every year in North America with knee injuries, where crutches are still the only option. Even clinicians want an alternative that better meets their patients' daily needs, so we built it. After a year and a half of prototyping with patients and clinicians, we built RevoStep, the first hands-free crutch for knee injuries. RevoStep lets users cook, clean, carry objects, and move confidently without assistance. It promotes a healthy walking gait, which prevents the joint strain and pain caused by abnormal movement in crutches. In pilot testing with Dr. Chris McGibbon, who studied at Harvard Medical School, 100% of our users felt more comfortable, had 0 falls, and could perform daily tasks independently. For our early adopters, we're targeting pharmacies, mobility retailers, and varsity teams using a consignment model. With no upfront costs, partners earn a 20% commission, and we reach patients at the point of injury. Rental options are available for price-sensitive users, and we'll sell replacement parts. Our minimal viable product will cost $90 to build in bulk, with a retail price of $350. Our partners earn a 20% commission and will operate at a 68% gross margin at pilot launch. And in year 2, we'll begin partnering with licensed distributors. In addition, patients using RevoStep incur lower overall recovery costs than those using traditional crutches, as they can return to work sooner, receive a knee brace at a fraction of the market price, and experience less muscle loss, all while reducing the need for extensive physiotherapy. In the last 7 months, we grew our team by 10 members across UPI and SMU, most of which are volunteers, formed 9 partnerships to support our technical and business development, built a working prototype tested at UNB, and we won first place at the Atlantic Engineering Competition. We're funded by Springboard IP to file our non-provisional patent this March, with new partnerships with IRAP and NSERC underway to fund our R&D, and recently begun contacting early adopters for letters of intent. With the help of Amira Idea Hub and Ingenuity, our minimal viable product will be complete by September. We're asking for $20,000 to launch next year. $6,000 is for our medical device establishment license to legally sell in Canada, $3,000 to travel and meet partners and investors at medtech conferences, and $11,000 to manufacture our first batch. We are LimbRise, and we restore freedom to recovery so people with knee injuries can heal safely, confidently, and on their own terms. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to get into the Q&A here. So again, we can use that raise hand feature. Remember to lower it. And if you'd rather not speak, do use the chat. And I'm doing my best to moderate between the two. So let's get started. James.
Could you describe the product a little bit more in detail?
Yes, absolutely.
I see some with a third kind of leg and then others without. What? Maybe that's for different injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. So what it is, it's an external knee brace that is configured to a peg leg configuration. And this peg leg is the base of support that offers the balance, kind of similar to what amputees already wear. However, this is for non-amputees and specifically for knee injuries. And so one thing about the device is that it actually promotes muscle engagement around the injury itself. So that way you experience less muscle atrophy compared to crutches. Hence, that's why you would spend less time in physio, rebuilding that lost balance and strength as you would lose in crutches.
Okay, I have a question in the chat. What population did you test this product with?
Yes, so far we've tested it on the mainly students at this point from ages 19 to 20, oh, sorry, 19 to 27. And then there was one outlier and he was 45 years old. That was Dr. Chris McGibbon, and he used it for 3 hours straight. And so we're looking to diversify our pilot tests into older age groups.
David, and then John, and then Stephen.
What's the learning curve to use and how long does it typically take a user?
Yes, absolutely. So what we noticed during our pilot test is that it typically took around 30 to 40 minutes for the users to be able to walk and navigate comfortably without any assistance. And so to put this into perspective, crutches, it usually takes around an average of 30 minutes. So our device takes a tiny bit longer. However, with a value proposition, you're able to perform hands-on tasks independently.
John? Oh, you're on mute.
Oh.
Sorry. Can you walk us through the math on this product versus crutches?
Yeah, math as in like a price point?
Yes. I saw three. Walk us through that again. It felt more expensive. Crutches, to rent crutches on their own or to buy crutches cost what?
Yeah, $60 on average. So we're targeting the knee demographic, and typically the majority of people who do incur a severe knee injury, they also end up purchasing a medical brace, which is very expensive because of crazy markups from clinics. And then as well, the +2 weeks, that's accounting for the physio you need because of the increased muscle loss relative to our device. So that ends up being $180 from just the 2 weeks of physio. So like $90 per week, and then the plus the $60 from the crutches, and then the knee brace was around like $300. We took the average to equal around $520 within that range.
And you said it costs you $90 to build?
Yeah, so our minimal viable product that we're building right now, it's not the one that's in this photo. We're currently building another one. It's mostly composed of plastics, and we took that number and had a discount because of taking into account it was going to be built in bulk.
Okay, I'm going to go Stephen and then Lean if we have time, and I do see questions in the chat, but
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating University of Prince Edward Island. Judges, we have a few moments as we bring in the next team. Please use this time to complete your scoring and we'll get started momentarily. Student Richard, you may now leave the meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, judges, please join me in welcoming the team from Wilfrid Laurier University. So I'm going to start the timer here, and Jordan will get you set up for your AV check. Can we just do a sound check if you want to say your name and...
Wilfrid Laurier University, Jordan Prentice.
Excellent. And you've got your slides queued up there.
Yes, I'm pulling them up right now.
Perfect.
You can see them okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Wilfrid, Laurier, you may now begin your presentation.
At 12 years old, right after my parents split, I was sitting in the front seat of my dad's black Dodge Charger, begging him to take me with him. He had tears in his eyes when he said, "Jordan, I have no place for you. Look around." All I could see were bags and boxes filled with his clothes and our memories. My dad was homeless. That moment forever changed me. A home isn't a commodity. It's a fundamental human right, the foundation upon which we build our lives. Yet for far too many, that foundation is crumbling. Globally, an estimated 1.6 billion people, 1 in 5, lack adequate housing. And in Canada alone, we need to build nearly 6 million homes by 2030 just to restore affordability. But at our current pace, we won't even build half of that. Traditional construction is too slow, and we simply don't have the workforce. It's also highly unsustainable and is not designed to withstand the climate impacts affecting communities today. To address these challenges, we need housing that is future-proof, affordable, rapidly deployable housing that doesn't rely on skilled labor and is built to last, not only withstanding current climate impacts, but using sustainable materials to lessen future impacts. That's why we built Kuponya Innovations, a future-proof house-in-a-box kit. Unlike traditional or modular housing, which depends on skilled crews and long timelines, Kuponya's system is designed for rapid local assembly in the most climate-exposed regions. Here's how it works. We've brought together suppliers of cutting-edge sustainable materials designed specifically to withstand climate impacts. Our foundation systems elevate homes above floodlines. Structural insulated panels create a highly energy-efficient building envelope that is sprayed with a fire-retardant cork coating. And inside, we use waterproof wall and ceiling panels, as well as flooring, and prioritize renewable energy systems. And because our homes are designed for simplified assembly, communities can build and maintain them themselves, getting valuable green construction skills in the process. With the support from the Future Skills Center, we've created a beta assembly guide that was shaped by community input, using human-centered design principles. This shifts housing from an externally delivered service to a locally owned system. All materials are shipped together, arriving on site to be quickly and easily assembled in less than a month, with skilled labor only required for the installation of mechanical and electrical systems. Our beachhead market is Northern Indigenous communities, who are on the front lines of both the housing and climate crises. Using human-centered design, we've kept community voices at the forefront, shaping our current layout and current focus on one-bedroom units to address a severe gap in housing supply. Our fully furnished base model starts at $124,000, with final pricing dependent on soil conditions, available infrastructure, and transportation logistics. But this isn't a concept. We're already building. We're currently constructing our first pilot home with the Yellowknife Dene First Nation and have secured 7 letters of interest to build 48 additional homes, housing over 72 people in the next 3 years. We've established 3 channels to market our kits, creating multiple pathways to reach communities with the greatest need. Kuponya's sustainability is driven by a repeatable sales model. Communities purchase complete housing kits, while Kuponya earns revenue through kit sales and design customization. By leveraging supplier partnerships instead of owning manufacturing facilities, we maintain low fixed costs while scaling through demand, not speculation. We're asking for $30,000 in funding to allow us to finalize and field test our assembly guide, integrate community feedback into a ready-to-deploy version, travel to communities to advance partnerships and finalize implementation plans, and create additional designs. I know what it's like to watch someone you love struggle without a place to call home, but we have the power to change that. At Kuponya Innovations, we're not just building houses, we're creating capacity for people to build their futures. We have the right team, and with the right support, we can change lives.
Excellent. Now it's time for the question and answer period. So judges, you know what to do. Please use that raise hand feature or type your question in the chat. Anne. Oh, and just remember to unmute yourself. And then we'll go to Jim.
I mean, this is obviously a very timely subject. I noticed that you've got a number of partners and you've reached out to various people. Have you sought government funding?
We have. Our pilot home is actually funded through CMHC's Round 4 Housing Supply Challenge. And we're currently negotiating another funding agreement with Enactus, Natural Resources Canada, for 2 additional homes in Northern Labrador.
Thanks.
Okay, Jim. Oh, you're on mute, Jim.
Tell me about your cash flow. I would have thought you want the 50,000 for, because cash is with that unit cost. Can you explain?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually operate using a Dell-inspired model, so homes are only produced after purchase agreements are secured. This minimizes a lot of upfront capital requirements and reduces inventory risk and allows us to remain asset light. So we don't necessarily need as much funding to create the materials until we get those orders in, but in order to create additional designs, so 2-bedroom, 3 bedrooms, and truly create that assembly guide, that's where we'll need the funding and capital.
Luce, and then I'm going to go to a question in the chat.
You'd have it. I don't think you've told us how much money you're requesting and what you would like to use it for.
So we're requesting 30,000 of the 50,000 pool. That'll allow us to hire a developer to finalize and field test our assembly guide, because we currently have a beta model that we worked with computer science students on. It'll also allow us to travel to communities to further discuss active partnerships and finalize implementation plans for future builds, and then create additional designs. Because we work with a certified architect and engineer, a lot of communities are interested in 2-bedroom or 3 bedrooms, so we'd like to offer that as part of our portfolio.
And can you describe the team you have assembled for this program?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So right now I'm the current founder and CEO. I also have a VP or a COO covering operations and customer integration and communication. Her name is Maddie. She's actually sitting beside me. And then we have a lot of strategic advisors specifically focused on Indigenous consultation, Northern construction, business development, because another asset or aspect of Kuponya Innovations is that as individuals are trained to build their homes, they can become certified installers of the different components and open their own businesses. So we've been working very closely with Prosper NWT in the North, who's willing to invest up to 17 million into the creation of these Indigenous-led businesses, with students at Laurier offering mentorship support and business planning support.
David, did you want to see the slide that shows the team and the advisor?
Yes, please, if possible.
Mm-hmm. Is it on the screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
If there is still time for questions, I'll just jump in. Can you speak about the engineering and the design?
We worked very closely with Indigenous youth from the North to create our base floor plan, because there are considerations that, being from Ontario, we hadn't realized. For example, we initially had a rectangular shaped home. They immediately told us that's very trauma inducing for communities. So we've shifted it to make it a square. I can actually go to the slide to make it more of a square. And then we worked with an architect based out of Yukon to get the drawings finalized and stamped. This is their architectural drawing. And then have worked with structural engineers, mechanical engineers, to ensure the systems that we're using and the R values within the panels reflect the needs of the North. So we've had a lot of guidance. It's been a steep learning curve, but an important learning curve, because we can recognize that housing is needed everywhere, and we wanted to ensure that this solution would work.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating Wilfrid Laurier University. Judges, we have a few moments as we bring in the next team. Please use this time to complete your scoring, and we'll get started momentarily. Jordan, you may now leave the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Let's welcome the team from BCIT. So we'll do the tech check here while the judges gather their thoughts. Jonathan, can I get you to check your audio?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic.
And do you want to share screen? Get your
Yep.
presentation up?
Share. There we go. Should be good, right?
Looks good.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay, BCIT, you may begin your presentation.
A study in 2024 found that 58% of the participants had varying sizes of plastic particles in their arteries. It's reasons like these that the Canadian government has been trying to reduce plastic waste to zero by 2030. So what if I told you the solution to this problem has been consistently thrown away for years? Canada disposes up to 1 billion liters of milk every year due to rigid production quotas, a staggering waste of high-performance proteins that can be used to our benefit. Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I created Lumora to solve these problems and close the loop entirely. The fiber, Lumora takes wasted milk from dairy processors and turns it into textile fiber. The fiber is a 100% biodegradable, compostable, and non-toxic alternative to synthetic materials in everyday products. The industry doesn't have to change to accommodate for it either. Lumora is the thermoplastic biopolymer ionomer. Say that 5 times fast. Which means it can be spun on the same machinery that manufacturers already use today. We found a group of people that all of us depend on that can utilize Lumora's fibers to the fullest. Farmers. Canadian farmers purchase hay bales for their cattle to eat, but they're wrapped in plastic twine and net wraps. Cows are indiscriminate eaters, which means they don't even realize they're eating the bits of plastic their bodies can't digest. Over time, the plastic can build up in their stomachs, causing them to feel full, get sick, and not eat. By then, expensive surgeries become the only way to save the animal. So why does this matter now? The rules for the fiber industry have changed. Under the new Bill C-59, compostable labels that don't break down in local soil are now illegal. Companies face up to penalties of 10 million or 3% of their global revenue for misleading environmental claims. As sustainability standards tighten across Canada, brands are being pushed off shelves. But using Lumora's fibers, we provide these companies with the ability to stay on store shelves. And this opportunity isn't only urgent, it's massive. The global biopolymer market is 23.7 billion, but most of it is currently in a state of non-compliance for Canada. So our plan is to zero in on the 1.2 billion North American agri-packing sector, where the regulatory hammer is hitting them hardest. This means there's an immediate 85 million demand in Canada for material that meets the new standards. Our goal is to capture 3.5% of that over the next 24 months, which equates to about 3 million in market capture. When it comes to the competition, Lumora surpasses not only its direct competitors, but its indirect competitors as well. It's fast, safe, and compliant with Bill C-59, qualities none of them that can claim. We've tested several formulas to create the fiber we're piloting today, and can say that Lumora has been refined to balance strength and flexibility in a way that meets agricultural standards. Our target market has evolved and sharpened into a circular model, giving us clear direction in terms of entry strategy. With Lumora's innovation lying within our proprietary formula, we can focus on creating twine with our own operations and licensing it out to create net wraps. With attainable metrics and local sourcing, this plan is feasible and at our current scale. We are asking for $50,000 to move Lumora from the lab to the field. We'll start with securing our IP with a PCT patent filing, then validate our safety through an OECD oral toxicity testing. From there, we'll produce our first 50 kilograms of twine on our Rex pilot line for trial on local dairy farms. I would love to connect with those who are interested, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Excellent. Let's begin the question and answer period. So raise hand feature, lower it when you're done, and use the chat if you prefer. Luce.
Hi, you had a chart there where you were showing competitors. You had a competitor that was called Q Milk.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it seems the only difference between Q Milk and yourself is I guess high speed manufacturing. Don't you think they can catch up with you? And do they have a patent? Or?
Yes, Q Milk is actually they produce mainly in Germany and have been exploring the US market as well. However, Q Milk's price per kilogram of yarn comes to about $40 to $60 Canadian, whereas our pricing is only about $5 to $8. That's our range, comparable to organic cotton pricing.
Thank you.
No
I have a
worries.
question in the chat. How long will it take to develop the prototype and costs?
When it comes to development, it does take around a 24-hour period to go from milk waste all the way to the fiber. However, the cost only comes down to around $5 to $8 for operations, especially with us sourcing our milk waste for free from dairy processing plants.
Jim and then David.
Could you describe your process in a little more detail, please?
For sure. The process starts off with a centrifuge removing rennet casing from the waste milk. And then it goes through a compounder with a number of different materials to form pellets. And then the pellets are put into a melt spinner. So instead of the traditional way that Q Milk would do it, where it's wet spinning machine, we are going with the melt spinning method because it allows us to create flexible but still reliably strong fibers. And as it's going through the melt spinner, it goes through spinnerets. It's stretched out and then goes through a cooling process and wound up.
David?
Have you spoken to potential buyers and what have they said of the yarn?
We have spoken to a number of potential buyers. I have spoken to someone actually last year at regionals. They are interested in a yarn that is compostable and safe for their soil because it is becoming a problem where when they find microplastics in their soil, it's reducing the water retention in their soil and reducing their crop yield overall. So there is interest in a clean biodegradable fiber.
John. John?
John, you're on mute.
Have you produced any fiber yet? Is there an end product that you've shown people?
For the recent iteration that we've made, not yet. We're actually going through some samples through instructors and getting their approval, working with BCIT Make Plus. But our previous iterations have been made before through sheets and also through wet spinning method as well. But those methods, we didn't want to go with it because the process was even longer than the melt spinning method.
Lean, and you'll be the last.
You asked for 20, so there's $25,000 and you asked to buy the machinery to produce. And then do you have a rough estimate on the volume required to sell in order to break even?
The volume required to sell to break even.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at this time, I do not because it does depend on which manufacturers we work with. So when it comes to our production of the fiber, comparing it to the required volume, it really is a case-by-case situation.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating BCIT. We now have a scheduled break. In an effort to get back on track, I ask that you quickly take a bathroom break and be back at your screens by 2:06 p.m., so 5 minutes. And please turn your cameras on and be in front of your camera so that if you're all here and ready, we can start early. Jonathan, you may now leave the meeting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. See you in 5.
Welcome to all the students who are joining at the break. We're going to push you into the breakout room, so please accept that prompt. And for those of you who have not changed your names, please change it to your school name hyphen your full name. Thank you. We have about 2 minutes left in the break, judges. If you are at your computer, please reminder to turn your cameras on. And completely okay if you are not back yet. Anthony from Simon Fraser University, if I can get you to turn your camera on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think he may be having a technical difficulty right now. So sorry about that.
There he is.
Hello.
David and Randy, do we have you with us? David, okay. Randy. I think we're just waiting on Randy here. Oh, or Randy, we've got you there. Great. Okay. We'll start now. And Simon Fraser, can I just have you do your audio?
Yep, testing.
Testing.
Excellent. You're sharing screen already. Okay. Simon Fraser, you may begin your presentation.
Every year, Canada throws away over 2 million tons of perfectly good fruit from grocery stores. Matter of fact, I worked in the produce industry for over 5 years. Every day, I saw perfectly good fruit thrown away because of cosmetic standards. Shoppers expect produce to look good, and I'm trained to discard entire bags for small imperfections. This inspired me to change the industry. I love going to the gym too, but I was also tired of the protein options on the market. To see if this was a shared problem, I surveyed over 200 gym goers at my local gym. And what I learned was that the market isn't lacking protein options, is lacking affordable, enjoyable, and clean ingredients. That's why my co-founder, Aiden, and I created Nourish, the first student-led social enterprise selling a functional, upcycled fruit-based protein gummy. Each serving contains 160 calories, 20 grams of protein, and 8 grams of fiber, creating an easy and enjoyable way for people of all lifestyles to get the nutrients they need.
Because our fruit is donated, we significantly reduce ingredient costs by 30%. Protein powders demand prep, and bottled shakes prioritize convenience over enjoyment. Nourish solves that problem. Nourish turns protein from a chore into a habit, and that is where real impact and retention happen. Existing products solve only part of the problem. Gummy Gains offers low protein and high sugar, while protein bars like Cliff deliver protein at the cost of calories, sugar, and taste. Nourish is the first gummy to combine high protein density, clean macros, great taste, and upcycled ingredients at scale.
Our product retails at $3.99 per pouch, with a cost of goods of $1.15, resulting in $2.84 in gross margin per unit. We sell surplus fruit from grocery stores and food rescuing organizations to keep good food out of landfills. We've secured over $4,600 in non-dilutive funding through Enactus and a Scotiabank Social Innovation Grant. I started this project in July in my own kitchen, coming up with my own recipe. Our go-to market strategy begins with direct and community sales through booths at gyms, pop-up events, and our website. Across 3 separate launches, we sold out within hours. Our next step is to partner with retail stores by running in-store booths to prove that our product would do well in their stores. To date, we sold over 140 pouches since launch, made over $575 in revenue, and diverted 143 kilograms of food waste, making us one of the fastest growing social enterprises in this cohort. With the $50,000 investment, we will allocate funds towards legal and regulatory setup, scaling equipment, packaging improvements, and continued product development.
Our team is made up of 10 passionate students ranging from academic backgrounds of business, communications, and interactive arts. However, we are not alone. This startup has professional mentorship from EY, the Patterson Food Group, Amazon, and food engineers from the Crump Group who believe in this initiative and are taking us under their wing. Worldwide, global healthy snacks are estimated to be 126 billion Canadian, with North America accounting for 39.6% of global healthy snack demand. Our SOMS target is 1%, which is $5.41 million. Nourish grew from two beliefs. Nourish your body the same way we need to nourish the environment.
Okay, we'll start the question and answer. Stephen, you're up first.
Hi, thanks. I'm curious, how did you make your initial product, and how do you ensure its safety and things like that?
Yeah, so we received the fruits from numerous different suppliers, and it goes through a rigorous testing product, testing each fruit 3 times individually, so then to ensure that there's no bad fruits and we're not putting that into our recipes.
Yeah, James.
Jim?
Could you go through the process just a little bit more? Is this a frozen product or just describe the process, please?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So to make the gummies itself is basically just making a sugar mixture. So we juice the upcycled fruits, and then we combine it with sweeteners, gelatin, and then also some preservatives as well to keep it shelf stable. And then once you kind of make that mixture, we put it into little squeeze bottles and then squirt it into candy deposits. And then we just pop up the gummies after we refrigerate it after a couple hours.
Gareth? And then Lean.
Would you mind breaking down your COGS in a little bit more detail?
Yeah, for sure. So unfortunately, I don't have a slide on the COGS, but it costs around 50 cents for like the protein powder, which is one of our highest cost drivers per pouch, and then followed by gelatin and then glucose. Since fruit is free, or since we're getting fruit donated, it just saves us a lot on ingredient costs, and it's also a sustainability project as well. So we're diverting food waste while also kind of providing essentially a cheaper option compared to what's on the market right now.
Lean, and then I have a question in the chat.
Your product compared to another ones in the competitors, I think the sugar level is quite low, which is great for health reason, but taste-wise, you sold 160 pouches, and then what's your product feedback in general?
I would definitely say when we were doing a lot of in-person boothing, it was the texture, just because a lot of people were comparing it to like a Maynard's gummy, or even like Welch's, for example, because that's like fruit based. So I'd say definitely it would just be finding the right type of gelatin, and that's where we're working with food engineers to find a specific type. For example, right now we just switched over to a 250 bloom gelatin, which is very candy-like and similar to I guess like what Maynard's or Smart Sweets uses.
Okay, then 2 questions in the chat, and then Luce, if you still have your hand up. How would you scale up the process?
Actually, I can answer that question. So we are planning on partnering with Loop and Odd Bunch, which are 2 companies that actually juice surplus fruit. So these companies already have a juice surplus, which would allow us to go straight into manufacturing and very much expedite our process as well.
Okay, second question in the chat. How do you secure your, quote, free supply?
So how we secured our partnership with Kins Farm Market, Food Mesh, and Food Stash, we just outreached them to email, told us about their mission. And then they just kind of just took us on board because they really loved the idea. And then we also kind of give them product back as well for them to even try and see how the donation kind of goes full circle. So that's, how we get our surplus fruit.
Luce, did you still have a question, or your hand went down?
Yeah, no, I just didn't think it would be time. But basically, once you scale and you're big, why would this company continue to give free food to you? And or what do they get back? Or are you giving back to charity? Like if
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating Simon Fraser University. Judges, we have a few moments as we bring in the next team. Please use this time to complete your scoring, and we'll get started momentarily. Students, you may now leave the meeting.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Yeah, you too.
Okay, please join me in welcoming the team from SAIT. And can I have you do your audio check, please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Great.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Felix. And can you share your presentation?
Sure. All right, is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, SAIT, you may begin your presentation.
On June 5th, 2024, the pipe responsible for 60% of Calgary's water supply catastrophically failed. This caused them tens of millions of dollars. But this isn't just a Calgary story. This is the reality of building asset owners today. I call it the data insight gap. They spend millions installing sensors, but lack the intelligence layer to read the warning signs. They are data rich, but insight poor. But this blindness is universal. It costs industries up to $500,000 just because of reactive maintenance. If you don't listen to the data, you can't stop the failure. And that's where HydraHerder comes in. We are the infrastructure layer that unlocks the value of data you already have. Our platform plugs directly into our client's network, and we use the predictive analytics to analyze sensor data in real time, finding the subtle anomalies that signal imminent failure and the hidden inefficiencies that waste your money. We turn raw data into preventative action. So, how do we win? Against legacy platforms, they're slow and expensive, and dashboards only tell you the story after the fact. HydraHerder, we deploy in weeks with AI analytics that help you save money. Our business model is a B2B SaaS subscription with 80% profit margins. We offer a base plan for commercial asset owners and an entry plan for larger operations. We also have a revenue scaling at $10 per active sensor per month. And the opportunity here is massive, a $75 billion North American market. And we're starting with Canada's 3.2 smart building market, focused right here in Calgary, where we are currently validating our technology on a live pilot with SAIT's Green Building Technology Center, a building aimed for net zero carbon emissions energy. HydraHerder was also presented at the AMP conference, gaining industry recognition from professionals in materials protection. For our clients, the impact is simple. We're closing that data insight gap. In the pilot, it was revealed that that green building was only 57% self-sufficient. What does that even mean? Well, they're producing weekly emissions equivalent to over driving 600 kilometers. That's the same as driving from Calgary to Edmonton and back. Insight that was previously invisible to them. For a green building that wants to be net zero, that's very important. And scaling this to a city level, we're looking at a potential of 300% ROI by targeting the $15 million that Calgary spent on routine repairs every day. We're not just saving your infrastructure, we're saving your tax dollars. We scaled through free trials for commercial buildings for immediate validation and partnerships with hardware vendors as their software layer. In mid-2026, we're launching the Alberta playbook with a rollout here in Calgary and scaling nationally by the end of 2027. This is led by software and IT students with industry experience in data analytics and IT asset management, guided by an advisory team, a board with decades of experience in engineering, enterprise, and industrial software deployment. To move from pilot to scale, we're asking for $50,000 for building the compliance, legacy connectors, and for software compute. We're also asking for warm introductions to your building asset owner friends. There's a saying in infrastructure that the most expensive data is the kind you ignore when it's already gone and too late. With HydraHerder, we're closing that data insight gap before it costs you money. We close the gap, we prevent the failure. Let's build together.
Excellent, thank you. We'll begin the Q&A. So, virtual hand or in the chat. David?
What percentage of the asset owners that you intend to serve actually have the sensors and the data in front of them already?
That's a great question. So how we're planning to scale this is we are very particular of the data integration because that is the main basis and the main supply of our value. So our integration is in SCADA integration, so SCADA sensors, which is a industry standard among majority of the building asset owners today. So we're trying to capture that market.
Sammy?
What do you anticipate to be the length of the sales cycle for this sort of engagement?
So, for example, in our pilot, we recently launched a pilot with them just a few weeks ago. And on our conversation with them, we have agreed that this contract will extend until April.
I have a question in the chat. Who would you market this product to?
That's a fantastic question. So I actually did more research on the type of ideal customer profile that we want to have in the next year or so. And for example, here in Calgary, we've looked into the market of people that have green buildings and sustainability infrastructure. These are people that have those integration connections that fit really well with the product that we already have. So this will be some really fast checks for us to scale at this early stage.
Great. Any other questions? We've got about 2 minutes. Brandy.
Can you sketch out in the ROI that you talked about, Felix? Can you sketch out what 1, 2, or 3 things contribute to that?
So the ROI, are you referring to the city of 300% ROI?
Yeah, yes.
I actually have an appendix here. So based on our research, the average in repairs yearly is around 15 million. And based on industry research, predictive maintenance can save up to 20%. So in a year, we're looking at 3 million in savings yearly. And if they buy our enterprise plan and an estimate of 5,000 critical sensors, that means sensors that are critical to that kind of operation, we're looking at a total investment to us at around 3.3 million. So 15 million benefit and a 3.3 million cost, that's around 300% ROI.
Lean.
You mentioned you showed a map about the potential buyers in Calgary, and B2B tends to take a little bit longer to sell, right? What is your active pipeline number right now? Your pipeline ARR?
We don't have data on that because our scope is larger than just pipelines. So the type of market we're trying to target is building asset owners that utilize SCADA sensors, because these are people that can integrate well into our system, and these are people that can gain a lot of value to the type of products that we have.
Randy, did you have another question or?
Can I ask a follow-up question on that?
Sure, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think I'm more interested in in your sales pipeline, what is the volume you're looking at right now?
So when it comes to the actual market here in Canada, that's around 3.2 billion.
Okay, but those are market, like it's more in the sales pipeline, right? Like how much ARR you actively talking, right? Given it's a B2B sales. I think that's what I'm trying to get here. Like three companies, $1 million ARR, for example.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from SAIT. Judges, we have a few moments as we bring in the next team. Please use this time to complete your scoring and we'll get started momentarily.
Okay, please join me in welcoming the team from UNB, University of New Brunswick. Can I get an audio check, or are you just...
Hey, can you hear me fine?
Yes. And you've got your presentation up.
Yes, that's fine, is it?
Okay, University of New Brunswick, you may begin your presentation.
Hello, my name is Lance, co-founder and CEO of Hexoris. EV batteries are 20% synthetic graphite, which is produced using centuries-old technology. Hexoris is developing a proprietary reactor to modernize this process and take advantage of increased efficiencies. EV battery manufacturers are the largest customer segment for synthetic graphite. Now, the traditional production of synthetic graphite comes with high cost and high emissions. The production of 1 ton of synthetic graphite costs $7,000, consumes the same amount of power as 10,000 homes, and emits as much CO2 as 1,200 cars per day. Global synthetic graphite demand is exploding at a 10% cumulative annual growth rate over the next decade. This is boosted by demand growth in EV batteries and grid-level storage. This has led domestic prices to reach $15,000 per ton. In 2038, the global market will be $40 billion with an annual consumption of 2 million tons. Hexoris offers marketable technology and cleaner products. We are developing a bio-sourced synthetic graphite, which will be lower cost and lower emissions. We will also offer waste partnerships to dispose of targeted waste. But our core value is our patentable reactor technology to produce green or conventional synthetic graphite. Hexoris makes cheaper, cleaner batteries possible. Hexoris is led by 4 graduating chemical engineering students with experience across nanotechnology research, industrial project management, industrial process operation, and mechatronics. We also have a strong advisory board with commercialization experience in hard technology, IP, and business development. Innovation is needed now because demand is exploding and production is constrained and reliant on ancient, inefficient technologies. We are presenting our company at Harvard this April, and we have a third-party testing agreement with the Dalhousie University's renowned battery lab. We're also currently competing in New Brunswick Innovation Foundation's breakthrough competition for a $100,000 Canadian equity investment. We're currently in the semifinal stage of this competition. Hexoris fits in our region due to investment in lithium-ion batteries, such as the Positive Plus cathode materials plant proposed in northern New Brunswick, and rumblings of a battery cell plant in St. John, New Brunswick. Going from lab to market is a long road, but representative of deep technology. In this quarter, we are completing a feasibility test on our first reactor one and working on our first patent. The next couple of years will see the design and testing of a reactor 2 program to prove viability and economic feasibility of our continuous process. We will then complete a major funding round to catapult our development of a pilot plant to prepare our IP to be ready to go to market in 2034. There are a handful of competitors in our space, but Hexoris offers clear benefits. Hexoris provides lower cost and lower emissions synthetic graphite than any of our competitors because we are developing a biomass-fed, continuous process to produce synthetic graphite. Our long-term revenue options are centered around IP. These include IP licensing agreements, IP sale, or production as part of a joint ventures. Hexoris is asking for $30,000 to purchase a mill and classifier to allow us to sell test bags to battery producers for them to test our lower cost conventional or biomass-derived synthetic graphite to ensure that our products will meet industry needs as we move to our next stage of development. Thank you for listening, and then I'll move to questions.
Excellent, thank you. Let's move into the Q&A. I think everyone knows the drill by now. Jim and Sammy and John.
Could you explain that last point about buying test beds for your customers? Is that what you needed the $30,000 for?
So we are developing a reactor itself that makes a graphitized material, a synthetic graphite. It then needs to be what's called spheritized. So basically milled down into a nice spherical particle and classified to have that right particle size to then be sent to be tested in the battery. So we're asking for $30,000 to buy a used mill and classifier, just a small scale one, that we can take our synthetic graphite from the reactor and have it be ready to put into a battery to be tested. So we can then sell that to potential customers for them to do a little innovation project to see how our material works in their batteries. Does that answer your question?
Sammy?
Similarly, I saw one of the charts where you had timelines through to 2030 and 2034. I'm curious why 30,000 and not all 50,000 in your ask?
Very valid question. We wanted to run as lean as we can in this project. So for $30,000, we can successfully build up that classifier, build that mill. That would be my answer to that question. It would be 30,000 we could spend today. 50,000 would take us a little bit longer to spend.
John?
How much money will it take to finish this project?
To finish this project all the way?
All the way. Like how much funding is required here?
Right. So we've estimated it will be around $25 million. We would look to leverage this through an NRCI wrap. So looking at raising on the order of $5 million of equity funding. The majority of this raise would come after the reactor 2 with a slight raise coming up soon. We're competing in the NBIF competition for $100,000. We then look to stat that and some additional funding at that time as well.
Lean?
Are you going to see any revenue coming in like before the pilot or before the license stage?
We will see balance sheet value through the development of our intellectual property. That's the core value we will be presenting to shareholders as they come on board with our company. The revenue, small licensing contracts or test samples would likely occur, but it's not the focus or what we want to sell to the shareholders. It's really that IP value, which will then allow us to make large revenue in the licensing stage.
David?
Can you go back to that differentiation piece again? I think I missed what makes your product different from what's currently out there.
Absolutely. So what's currently out there is synthetic graphite is all produced from petroleum coke. So it's an oil-derived product. These are then made in what's considered a batch furnace processing method, which is high cost, takes a long time to heat it up, can take days to heat it up. And then once it's heated up, it can take weeks for it to cool down. So there's a lot of heat loss in the production process and a lot of CO2 being emitted from the energy being required for the process, as well as from the life cycle component of the petroleum coke used as the feedstock. Our key differentiator is we're working towards a continuous process, so less heat loss, less energy in. So that's massive cost savings as well as emission savings. Then we're also working on a biosourced product, which could then take us down to actually be carbon negative.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating University of New Brunswick. We have a few moments as we bring in the next team. Please use this time to complete your scoring and we'll get started shortly. You may now leave the meeting.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Awesome.
Yes, this is our team from Trent. Welcome.
Good afternoon, judges.
Okay, and you've got your presentation share screen here.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just take a few minutes. Okay, Trent, you may begin your presentation.
Thank you. So 3 years ago, me and my close friend started university with the goal of building something meaningful. We had the idea, the motivation, but we quickly ran into challenges we didn't expect. Resources, mentors, and opportunities, all these words and these things existed, but they were scattered, difficult to find, and definitely hard to access. Then we realized that this wasn't just our experience. Looking around this room and being part of Enactus, I'm sure most, if not all of us, have faced these type of issues. The problem isn't the lack of ideas, as you can see. It's the absence of a clear structure. Students, professors, and mentors are all part of the same ecosystem, yet there's no structured way for them to connect early when an idea actually needs support. And without that structure, most ideas don't fail, they stall. That's where Entrehive comes in. We aren't just a tool or an app, we're an interconnected system, a hive, if you will, where people, both professors and students, are able to sign up and set up their structured profiles, whether they're looking to be a founder, collaborator, investor, or mentor. So what does it look like? Well, here you're able to see how users are able to customize their profile to convey what role they're interested in. They can then explore the platform to meet their needs, whether they're seeking support, offering skills, mentoring, or investing. Why now? The global market for student entrepreneurship is massive. Our total addressable market is way over 200 million people worldwide, but we are not trying to reach everyone at once. Our focus is very clear: the 1 million potential users in our obtainable market. And there's a reason we are focused here. Over 90% of colleges and universities don't have large business school budgets, incubators, or a dedicated startup infrastructure. That's where we come in, giving these institutions a structured, accessible system without really requiring massive resources. How do we do this? Well, first, being university focused allows us to focus on our target audience and build within universities. We're also free to use with verified users, which immediately diminishes any spam or fake accounts. And lastly, we focus heavily on role-based participation. Each category of user engages differently with purpose and intent. Here's what our roadmap looks like. Phase 2 is where we are right now. We're running a controlled pilot with 60 closed beta users, refining the platform directly through real student feedback. This builds on our phase 1, where our MVP brought in over 250 plus signups and helped us validate what students actually needed. This was all within a span of 6 months. From here, we move into phase 3, our full release, scaling across campus, investing in student-led projects, and running workshops and competitions that turn their ideas into ventures. And that naturally leads to phase 4, our expansion, formalizing partnerships and helping universities adopt Entrehive as a centralized platform. Here's how we plan to allocate our funds. 50% of all the funds go straight into project reinvestment, supporting platform refinement, student-led initiatives, and venture validation across the university. 20% is for website maintenance and development. The rest is distributed intentionally within legal, marketing, and cybersecurity. We are Entrehive. We believe that each one of these phases are feasible, thanks to our amazing team consisting of yours truly, Khadr, Adit Chadda, Laurentis Nagara, and Hithika Somani. With all that being said, we invite you to join us to be entrepreneurial. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's start the Q&A. And as we've said before, Stephen, go ahead. And then, okay.
Curious how you think you might use AI with building this platform.
Could you please define using AI as in the structure or?
In the platform, aside from the website, in terms of the matching, the different functions that you're using, I could see some potential. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Thank you so much for your question. AI is the main resource we're using to define projects on our site. So, for example, I have an idea and I want to join Entrehive. I'll update the project on Entrehive first, and it has to go through a certain rubric for it to become a project on Entrehive. And AI is being used or will be used eventually to help us filter out projects.
Yeah, and currently we are using an algorithm to further boost projects that might be more suitable for a specific user. Let's say I am a computer science student and I'm really interested in building my skills in software engineering, and then we can further help our algorithm push that kind of content.
Sammy, and then I have a question in the chat.
What's the business model? How are you generating revenue?
Awesome. Thank you so much for your question. As of right now, our operations are sustained through grants, competitions, and institutional funding, which allows us to build and validate the platform without placing financial barriers on students. We do not want to have that monetary gap for our side for students. Students already pay too much. Long term, our model is to partner directly with universities. Entrehive becomes the infrastructure, a platform universities can use to manage entrepreneurship programs, mentorship, venture development, and in that model, revenue comes through institutional partnerships rather than charging students.
Three questions in the chat. We'll start with how much money are you requesting?
For right now, we're requesting for $20,000, and that $20,000 can be used for, as I said, in our. It will go back into project reinvestment. And what I mean by project reinvestment is students who take the initiative on our side by using our platform, utilizing that platform, will be given funding from Entrehive's side. So this promotes people using and utilizing our platform. Everything else will go into protecting our users on website and refining websites and adding tools like AI. And yeah, most
okay. I'm going to combine these two questions. I think they're similar, if I may. Who are you marketing this product to, and or how are you attracting participants to your platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. So within our platform, we have a couple categories for users. We are mostly attracting students and professors and everyone inside of the university ecosystem. We are reaching them through a variety of things. One of them is obviously social media. However, we're also in talks with partnerships with our business department, along with other clubs to host workshops, as well as events on school to promote our platform, so that our students can utilize it as best as possible.
Okay, another question in the chat is where does the funding come from?
So as of right now, our funding has come from Accelerator programs and grants and bursaries on campus. Bursaries like student beneficial and student empowerment entrepreneurship grants. These are limited for now, but we're hoping to partner with the university for the long term.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating Trent University. Judges, we have a few moments as we bring in the last team. Please use this time to complete your scoring and we'll get started momentarily. Students, you may now leave the meeting.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome, Okanagan College.
Hi.
Can I get a sound check?
Hello, hello.
Sounding good. And you're getting ready to share screen, it looks like.
Yep.
I don't think we do. Are you sure? Yep. I don't think so. We don't need to make it bigger. It's just sharing the screen.
Okay. How's that look to everyone?
It looks good. Let me just. So we've got you twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
We'll
one
fix
second,
that.
we'll fix
Okay.
that. Oops. No.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay. Okanagan College, you can begin your presentation.
Every 10 seconds, 90 books end up in the landfill.
And in Canada alone, paper waste makes up roughly 1/3 of everything sitting in our landfills, with a significant percentage of that waste being books.
Dated, out of circulation textbooks and damaged books that do not meet recycling center standards and are redirected to a landfill, where that paper
rots, decomposing without oxygen and releasing methane due to the low oxygen environment a landfill creates.
And Chelsea and I think that's ridiculous. Paper is an amazingly versatile resource, so we knew there had to be a better way.
So at Enactus Okanagan College just 1 year ago, Luke and I created our business,
Paper Trail, developed by our team of relentless innovators, scientists, and engineers. We developed a new fuel source.
Made from books and beeswax, we created
the Fire Brick. This product outshines its main competitor, well improving on the environment. Chelsea, tell them the problems with firewood.
The problem is, firewood is heavy and hard to carry around.
And our bricks are light and weigh less than a pound.
Firewood gets wet easily, making it useless.
And our bricks are 100% weatherproof.
And on top of all of that, unlike our competitors, we don't use any chemicals to increase our flammability.
Plus, we've added breakpoints to the brick so the consumer can snap a piece off if they'd like a shorter burn time.
Or they can burn the entire brick if they want a full 90-minute burn time.
All that sounds great, Chelsea, but let's talk numbers.
The Fire Brick costs $2.20 to make, and we sell it for $5 wholesale.
This supports a $7.50 MSRP.
Without asking customers to pay more for sustainability.
All supporting our 57% profit margin, which proves our financial sustainability and resilience towards input cost fluctuations.
Our costs include labor, overhead, and beeswax.
But Chelsea, what about paper?
Well, Luke, we don't actually pay for paper, we get paid to take it.
Oh, that's right. The libraries that supply us pay us 15 cents per book to take them off their hands, monetizing our supply chain.
Paper waste is such an overwhelming problem that when people found out we had a solution, they would just drop off dozens and dozens of textbooks and we would have no idea where they came from.
It got so bad that sadly, we had to put this sign up in our office, because there's a limitation on how many books we can take until we have more industrial equipment.
That being said, through pilot sales, we have been able to successfully divert 1,920 methane-generating books from the landfill, produce 640 bricks, generating $3,200 in revenue over the last 6 months.
All done under the governance of Enactus OC, with our faculty advisors and key retail mentorship, allowing us to sell out in under 10 hours consistently through our pilot at Co-op gas station.
Our team further validated our product through primary market research, surveying 150 prospective customers and gaining 80 signups for pre-orders.
This structured approach allowed us to target our key demographic of hunters, anglers, and hikers who love the lightweight and waterproof nature of the brick.
We presented that data with our innovative design to Canadian Tire, and we have secured a letter of intent.
In fact, the district sales manager said that our product would be a mover both regionally and nationally.
To effectively scale and meet Canadian Tire's demand, we first must upgrade our production equipment.
By purchasing a pneumatic hydraulic press to have manual labor.
Purchasing an industrial shredding unit will triple paper processing speed.
And purchasing an industrial mixing unit for larger batch sizes.
If Paper Trail could be allotted $28,500, we could successfully scale to meet Canadian Tire's demand.
And based on our regional door count and weekly sell-through data, we're anticipating to produce 100,000 bricks, generating $500,000 at revenue in 2026.
Through our regional rollout, where demand is based on carefully acquired market data.
And judges, what that 28,500 would really allow me to do is take that horrible no more book sign off the door.
Because in the few minutes we've been speaking, 2,160 methane books have been dumped into the landfill, each one set to harm our environment.
That's where Paper Trail steps in. We're rerouting that waste into a force for good. So join us on the Paper Trail.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. So, apologies, my camera isn't working, but we're going to move ahead into Q&A. Do I have any questions for Okanagan College? Randy.
How does your $7.50 retail price compare to a chemically covered fake log that we all know and buy?
So Presto logs are less expensive, but they're mainly for things like your fireplace. Yep. And as you said, they're covered in paraffins, which are actually carcinogens. But our other big value proposition over them is that we're lighter. So we actually weigh under a pound, whereas they weigh about 7 pounds. And obviously we're waterproof. So in terms of an outdoor environment, we have a ton of competitive advantage.
Sammy, then Gareth.
Are there any types of books that you can't process that you have to dispose?
Yes, there are. So books with laminated materials on them, we can't work within our current production method.
What percentage can you not work with?
It's in terms of textbooks, it'd be around 30 to 35%. Could they have that kind of annoying laminated material? But all other books, we can just slice the binding off and process the paper.
But we've currently made a partnership with a company called Eco Waste, and we're working with them to be able to have the bindings be turned into an energy source because they take recyclable materials and turn it into fuel sources that like power energy plants.
Gareth?
What distribution channels are you going to use to get that $500,000? And does that include direct to consumer?
So currently that's $500,000 projected through Canadian Tire. So that will be our primary distribution channel, as well as right now we're doing some farmers markets just to get consumer testing and ideate on the product.
Do we have other questions? Randy, do you have another question or your hand's just up? No, all good. David.
Why a brick?
So the brick started out as just we weren't actually sure what we wanted to do with like what the shape should be. We thought logs. We thought, you know what, we're different. Let's have the design be different. And the other phenomenal thing about the brick is it's really easy to stack in retailers. So in terms of transportation, it takes out a lot of logistical headaches that the log presents.
We have a question in the chat. Where did you say you were getting the discarded books from?
Currently, it comes from the Okanagan College Library, as well as other local libraries who are just completely overwhelmed with their paper waste, as well as a percentage comes from Salvation Army, who just can't handle how many donated books they're getting.
Jim?
And if you get the 28.5, what do you expect to make in your first year? What are your projections?
So our projection is that $500,000 figure through Canadian Tire, as once we get the industrial equipment, we can fulfill their demand and then supply them throughout the year.
That's sales, but how about profits? What do you?
Profits, well, we have that 57% profit margin for the $5 price we'll be paying. So it'd be around $150,000 profit.
David?
As you scale and grow, what are other sources of paper that you've looked at beyond libraries?
Oh, paper waste is endless. In fact, as that figure shows, 33% of paper waste globally, or sorry, 33% of our landfills is paper globally. So you have homework, you have textbooks, you have food waste. It's really just an endless problem. We're right now just starting with the textbook as that can monetize our supply chain really easily as we grow. But this also at scale will not be our only product, where the point of Paper Trail is to come up with long-term upcycling solutions to paper waste globally.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from Okanagan College. Team, you may leave chat.
I know some judges have a hard stop at 3 p.m. So if you have to drop off, you may do so. Just please remember to click save